I've been creating images in MidJourney for a while now. It can be a valuable resource for ideation in the design process. But like any new tool, the rules of use have yet to be defined. There are some unscrupulous individuals who create images using tools such as MidJourney and DALL-E and pass them off as reality. In this video, I'm going to show you some of the telltale signs of a generative AI interior design image. Currently, it can be quite easy to detect, but note that the technology is improving quickly. It is getting more and more difficult. Before we jump in and look at a few example images, here are a couple of tips. Don't look at the image in its entirety. Look at the small details. Analyze parts of the image and see if they make sense to you. Appliances can be in odd places. Faucets or taps can repeat. Decorative items can be strangely placed or lack proportion. The last tip is look for parts of the image that are slightly blurry or that have a strange texture. A lot of AI images don't deal well with imperfections. So look for things that look a little bit strange. Now you've got these tips, let's look at a few images so that you can see what I mean. Here is an image where you can see the inconsistency very, very clearly. Generative AI is notorious for getting fingers and arms wrong. The odd placement in this instance of the wrist. So this image is very easy. So let's take a look at another one. If you can see here, we've got a vase which is very strangely placed onto the cooktop here, and generally if you were styling it, you would probably find that you would never style it like that. It's just very, very odd. Another example is an inconsistency like this. There is this strange black part that comes out here. It just looks quite strange. Windows are also a little bit of a giveaway. You'll see that there are strange proportions. In some images, you'll find that the panes are not quite even, and we'll take a look at some examples in a minute. Here's another example of a faucet or tap that is a little bit strange. You'll see that you've got this extra part here, and there seems to be an overabundance of vegetables, and this quite strange thing here, which I'm not exactly sure what that is. You'll see some artifacts that have been included in the image. I also think one of the strange things that MidJourney does is it loves to add in a lot of greenery. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants in this image, and that is, a little bit overdone. Another thing that you can note, and there's a few things in this image that is quite strange. The first thing is you'll find that there are some decorative items which you can't really exactly tell what they are. The next thing is that these light fittings here seem out of proportion to the room. They seem to protrude quite far, and they're quite large. There's also, if you have a look at this chair here, you can see there's a bottom, but there doesn't seem to be a top. You would probably expect that this chair would have a top that would be able to be seen. These vases, again, are a little bit odd. You can see the whole effect is actually really pleasing, but when you actually start looking at these details, you find that you can actually see that there are some big inconsistencies. This image looks great, but there are some few things here that I can point out. The first thing is this chair that seems to have a back but has a very sort of narrow area here that doesn't make sense. The next thing is there is a pane of glass that's missing, and you can see here these are all evenly placed, and suddenly there is this very, very strange gap. So you would expect that you would have some sort of window detail here that is missing. The other thing that is a bit strange is these appear to be doors, but you can't actually see any doors opening or closing. Now, they could possibly open outwards so that you might not see them, but still, it just looks a little bit strange here. The other thing also is they love to put these full-on trees in these places, which seem a little bit large and strange. It still is a lovely image though. This image, again, you've got a very, very nice, pleasing image, but this here looks very odd. So this is what I mean about the decorative items. There's a kind of a vase here and a whole sort of selection of little things. You can see you've got this tiny vase here, which I don't think an interior designer would ever sort of put something in this sort of arrangement in this way. This leaf kind of looks like a bird, but that could be just natural, I suppose. And the other thing is, if you look very carefully, I'm not sure whether it shows up very well in the video, but there are these, I think they're meant to be light fittings, but they look like vases that are sort of turned upside down and they don't really fit. And finally, one of the huge giveaways is this could possibly be a cantilevered chair, but there's actually no cantilever there that you can see. So the chair is floating in space. And the last one that I want to show you is quite a common problem actually. So there's a few issues with this image. There's no sink here and there's a tap. There is this strange arrangement for the window here. So finally you'll see that there are some very, very strange artifact here. So where the edge of this countertop is, there's just a very strange texture that you'll find here. Again, you know, the texture of the chairs, which have these rattan seats, have very strange edges. So with all of these AI images, you'll have to actually go in and take a look at some of the images. So if you want to have a look at these images in detail so that you can really carefully see some of the inconsistencies, I'm going to put all of these images into a PDF that you can download to take a look, and I'll leave the link to that in the description. These examples that I've shown you have been just taken from a random set of images that I have generated. AI image generation is here to stay. Though I've shown you examples of images that I have created recently, the images are getting better and better, and I have no doubt there will be less mistakes in the future. If you are a designer, I think that being upfront about how you create your imagery is important. There is no doubt that these sorts of tools are important for efficiency, but I encourage anyone who uses AI image creation in their design workflow to ensure that they correctly identify these images as AI generated. And I also think it's important to note the model in which you use to create those images. As a designer, it would be extremely embarrassing if a client discovered that an image that was on your website and was not acknowledged was AI generated. Action such as this does not inspire trust, and ultimately, as a designer, your client should trust your skill and taste. This is what they are paying for. Next time you're looking at an interior design image on social media, take a closer look. I hope you found this video helpful. If you like this kind of content about interior design and the interior design business, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be creating much more content on AI and on the interior design business. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.